slope-intercept form. Alright, first when looking at slope-intercept form, we need to look at what a linear equation is. Now, a linear equation is an equation whose graph is a perfect line, so it's going to be a straight line. Now, the x-intercept is the coordinate of the point where this line crosses the x-axis. Okay, remember that is the one that goes horizontal. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point where a line crosses the y-axis. That one's a vertical. Alright, so slope-intercept form is a linear equation written in the form y equals mx plus b, where y is by itself. Notice it doesn't have a number. The slope is going to be m, and the y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, is b. So we've got the form y equals mx plus b. This b is the y-intercept, and this m is your slope. Alright, so in identifying slope and y-intercept when you're given an equation of a line. Now remember, the equation must always be in the form y equals mx plus b in order to determine what the slope is of the line and what the y-intercept of the line is. Okay, so this first one, y equals negative 2x plus 1. This is already in the form y equals mx plus b. So the number in front of my x is my slope, so it's negative 2. Notice I don't write the x because that's not part of my slope. This plus 1 means the y-intercept is a positive 1, so my b is going to be 1. Over here in the second one, I have y equals 7, 6x minus 3/4. Notice we're still in the y equals mx plus b. The number in front of my x is 7, 6. It's a fraction, but that's okay. So that's my slope. And then now I have minus 3/4. That means the y-intercept is at negative 3/4. So if it's a plus, it's positive, and if it's minus, it's negative. Alright, so number 3, we have 2y minus 6 equals 3x. Notice this is not in our slope-intercept form. So you need to first put it into slope-intercept form by solving for y. So on this, I'm going to add 6 to both sides. I'm going to write my x first, my 3x first, because that's the way it is in slope-intercept form. So I have 2y equals 3x plus 6. Now, I can divide this up into 3x divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2, like I have done over here. Remember, 2y divided by 2 is just 1y, or just y. Okay, so this 3 over 2x, that's going to be 3 halves x, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now we're in slope-intercept form. So my slope is what's in front of the x, 3 halves. So 3 halves is my m. My b, or my y-intercept, is going to be 3, and it's positive because I've got plus 3. So that's my y-intercept. This fourth problem, negative 2y equals 6 times the quantity of 5 minus 3x. Notice this is not in slope-intercept form as well. So I first need to do that. I'm going to distribute this 6 right here. I'm going to do 6 times 5. And then I'm going to do 6 times negative 3x. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times negative 3x is a negative 18x. That's why I did minus 18. Okay, so now I'm going to divide each side by negative 2. So this just becomes y. I've got 30 divided by negative 2, and I've got minus 18x divided by negative 2. 30 divided by negative 2 is negative 15, and 18 over negative 2 is a negative 9x, but remember I have a negative out here, so it becomes plus 9x. Now, y equals negative 15 plus 9x is still not in slope-intercept form. We need to write the x first. So I'm going to flip them and do y equals 9x minus 15. So now we know my m is 9, and negative 15 is going to be my b, my y-intercept. Alright, now we're writing equations in slope-intercept form. So if I'm given the slope and the y-intercept, I'm going to ask you to write an equation using those two things in slope-intercept form. It's very, very easy. So this first one, I've got a slope of 3/8 and a y-intercept of 6. So I take my form, y equals mx plus b. I literally take off the m and write 3/8 because that's my slope. And take off the b and write 6 because that's my b. And then there's your equation. On this one, our slope is negative 3 and our y-intercept is negative 4. So I take y equals mx plus b. literally erase m, put in -3 for my slope. Then I have -4x, so I'm going to erase the plus and the b and put -4 because this needs to be a -4. And then there's your equation. Now what if you're given a graph and need to write the equation of the line? So what I need to do first is identify the slope. So I picked 2 points, okay? So my first point I'm going to pick right here, and the second one's up here. Remember, it's rise over run. So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3 to get even with that next point, and go over 1, 2, 3, 4 to my next point. Notice since I went left 4, I do a -4, and you know 3 over -4 is just -3/4. So there's my slope. Now I'm going to define or identify my y-intercept. This is my y-axis. Remember, this is your x, this is your y. So I need to know where this line crosses the y-axis, and it is right here at the number 2. So my b is 2. So now I write the equation. I've got y equals mx plus b. Put in -3/4 for m, put in 2 for b, and then there's your equation. Y equals -3/4 x plus 2. And you're done. Now let's look at this second one. So first thing, pick 2 points so you can find your slope. I know I've got a point here and here, so I need to go up 1 over 2, and since I'm going right, it's positive. So my slope is going to be 1/2. Now my y-intercept, it crosses the y-axis right there. Remember, this is y, this is x. So it's crossing it at 1. So my b, or my y-intercept, is 1. So I take my equation, y equals mx plus b, plug in 1/2 for m, and plug in 1 for b. So my equation is going to be y equals 1/2 x plus 1. Alright, now graphing equations using slope-intercept form is actually quite easier than using it the way we did before, where we did a table of values. Now, I have the equation y equals 3x minus 1. So, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to plot the y-intercept. Now, when I go to plot the y-intercept, it's -1, so that's -1. So, remember, yx, it crosses the y-axis at -1. So, that's what this point is right here. Now, then I need to do my slope. My slope is 3, which is the same thing as 3 over 1. So, we're going to use that. Use the rise over 1 to plot another point. So I need to start here at this point. I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3 over 1, and that gets me that second point that I need. Now, if you want to keep going on and doing more points, then start from this point, go up 3 over 1, and there's another point right there. Then you can keep going up 3 over 1 to get another point. And you can keep going this if you want to do more than one point. But really, you just need these 2 points to draw your line. So once I have those 2 points done, then I just connect the dots and draw my line. Notice I take up the whole graph, the whole coordinate point plane while I'm graphing my line, because I want to show that it goes on and on more than just drawing between those 2 points. Alright, let's look at this second one. Y equals -2/3 x plus 2. So first thing you need to do is plot your y-intercept. It says +2, so it's crossing this y-axis here. Remember, y-axis at 2 right here, so it's going to put a point at that 2. Then my slope is -2 over 3, so I'm going to use that slope in order to graph. So I start at 2. I'm going to go up 2, 1, 2, and since it's negative, I go left, 3. 1, 2, 3. And there's my second point right there. Now, all you need are those 2 points to draw your line and connect. Alright, let's look at another graph. We're going to first take this equation, find out our slope and our y-intercept, and then graph it, just like you did before. So I have y equals 2 minus 3x. This is not in slope-intercept form, okay? We need to do that first. And basically all you have to do is switch those two. So it's going to be y equals -3x plus 2, because that was a minus 3x, My y-intercept is what's back here, that 2, it's positive. My slope is -3, so it's right there. This -3 is like the same thing as -3 over 1, and that's what we're going to use when we graph. So my y-intercept is 2. So I go here, on my y-axis right here, I plot the point 2 right there. So it crosses the axis at 2. Now my slope is -3 over 1. That means I go up 3. 1, 2, 3, and I go left 1 since it's negative. And there's my second point. Now remember, you just need those 2 points to draw your entire line. And always use a ruler too. So this second equation, I have -2 times the quantity of 3x minus 2 plus y equals 0. First, this is in no kind of form whatsoever. I need to put it first in slope-intercept form, so I've got to solve for that y. I distribute this -2 by going -2 times 3x and -2 times minus 2. That gets me -6x plus 4 plus y equals 0. I need to move my x, so I add 6 to both sides. I get 4 plus y equals 6x. They need to move this 4, so I subtract 4 from both sides, and I get y equals 6x minus 4. Now, my y-intercept is what's back here. It's a -4, so my y-intercept's at -4. And my slope is what's in front of my x, which is this 6, so that's my slope. Remember, 6, when we're actually graphing it, we're going to use it as 6 over 1. So, come over here. First things first, graph your y-intercept. So I'm going to go down to -4. It crosses the y-intercept right there, y-axis. Then my slope is 6, 1. I go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1, which is right there. There's my second point. And all you have to do is draw your line between those 2 points and you're done. Alright, the last thing is to see if the ordered pair given to you is actually on the graph of your line or your given equation. So this first one, I have -3, 4, and my equation y equals 2x plus 1. What I'm going to do is take the equation y equals 2x plus 1. I have an x and a y. I'm going to plug it in and see if it equals both sides. So I plug in 4 for y and -3 for x. So I get 4 equals 2 times -3 plus 1. I'm going to see if the two sides equal each other. Now 2 times -3 is -6. And then add 1 is -5. Now that does not equal 4, so this point does not lie on your equation's line. On number 2, I have the point -6, 5, and the equation y equals -1/2 x plus 2. Okay, plug in 5 for y, -6 for x, and then solve it. So -1/2 times -6 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5, and since both sides equal each other, this point does lie on this line. This third one, I had the point 0, -1, and the equation y equals x minus 5/4. Now you plug in -1 for y and 0 for x, and you get -1 equals 0 minus 5/4. Now, you know 0 minus 5/4 is just -5/4. And -1 and -5/4 do not equal each other. It's not true. So this point does not lie on the equation line. The answer is no. This last one, 2, 2 is my point. And I have y equals the opposite of x plus 4. Now, when I have a negative x, that doesn't mean that I just want that number negative. It just means take the opposite of whatever x is. So you're going to plug in 2 for y and 2 for x. Notice I put the x in parentheses because I want to make sure I take the opposite of what this 2 is. So if I do the opposite of +2, that's -2. -2 plus 4 is 2, and both sides equal each other, so yes, 2 does fall on the equation line.